Welcome to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from the Center for New Media at Middlesex Community College in Middletown. I'm Steve Minkler, Campus CEO and Academic Dean. Today I'm surrounded by students in the college's Studio Television Production course. You can't see them. They're behind the scenes running all of the equipment that makes Middlesex Moments happen while they learn the field of digital media production. Today's show is a bit special. Normally, Middlesex Moments is a weekly radio show that airs on WLIS WMRD. This is the first episode of the 2019 season that is being produced for radio, television, and YouTube all at the same time. So with me today are my guests for our first multimedia show, and they're both from the English department. We have Professors Ashley Raithel and Adam Floridia. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
And in addition to being English professors, both Ashley and Adam are members and actually co-hosts of the Middlesex Community College Book Club. And Adam, you have a little more history with the book club. Tell us how the book club got started and how you got first involved.
Sure. It wasn't something that I initially started. It was something I picked up and kind of re-energized after our wonderful librarian, Ann Palak, retired. She'd been doing the book club for years. And I thought that with her gone, and it kind of left a hole in literacy and just the coming together and talking about books and stuff. So I decided to get it going again. And last year, I think it was last fall, so we're a year and a half in, I started it up again and picked some books for people to read and tried to get people to come and discuss them. And Ashley was one of the few people who came to every single meeting, so I decided to capitalize on that and ask her if she wanted to co-host officially with me.
Okay, awesome. And it seems like it's a natural extension from being an English professor to being in the book club, doesn't it, Ashley?
Yeah, it's great. It's an opportunity for us to get students to read different books than what we're reading in our English classes. I mean, a lot of them are a lot more contemporary than maybe what we're doing in class. I know I'm always texting Adam, telling him new book recommendations that I think would be exciting for our students to read, so it's a lot of fun.
That's great. And I do remember when Ann Palak had led the book club for a number of years, she was great at picking books that were, really kind of spoke to things that were happening, in today's society, but she also was really great at picking books that became great films. So how do you go about kind of picking books for the book club?
Well, this is why, I don't know if I've told you this, but this is one of the big reasons I really wanted Ashley involved, is because she's been, I think, a much better book picker than me. So the first semester when we did it in fall 17, without any input from other people, I just picked things that I liked. So we read some David Foster Wallace, we read some Kurt Vonnegut. I don't even remember what the other book was. And people liked it, but that's a style that maybe not everyone is into, and it's not as contemporary and inviting. So this semester, I did not pick a single book. They were all recommendations from other people. The first one from Ashley that we just talked about, another one came from one of our librarians, and then the last one is the book on the Riverbend, and we'll talk about all that later, I'm sure.
Okay, great. Well, now you must draw a lot from books that you yourself have read, and how, Ashley, at home, how big of a book library do you have?
It's huge. I read probably 65 books a year, so, and I'm a big library person, so I'm constantly requesting books from my local library, and my husband got me Book of the Month Club for Christmas, so now I get a book mailed to me every month. That is a surprise, and it's awesome.
And you get to keep up with all that.
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. And I know, Adam, you have a pretty large library yourself at home, too.
Yeah, and as much as I love libraries, I can't use libraries because I cannot read a book without writing in it. I have to have a pen, even if I'm reading Harry Potter. I'm taking notes in it, and my notes are usually like, ha-ha, or oh, that's sad. So nothing very erudite and Englishy, but it's just a habit I got into of annotating and stuff. So I like it, though, because it does force me to buy books, so my house is filled with books. I think I've got over 700 books on my shelf.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll explore a little bit more about the book club and how you choose the books later in today's show, but it is time for a short break, and when we come back, more with Adam and Ashley in our next segment known as Meet the Professors. This is Middlesex Moments from Middlesex Community College. Stay tuned for more.
Starting back in high school, was not the best student, and so I decided that Middlesex was the best option for me.
I chose Middlesex because they had a lot of different programs that I was interested in. For me, it was just easier to come here part-time and also keep my job. Middlesex, I would say, helped me get my foot in the door in the news business.
I had professors that cared about me, that pushed me in ways. I went to Middlesex Community College and transferred to Wesleyan University with a full scholarship.
The Center for New Media has all the stuff that I see daily at News 8. To be able to jump on and say, I have experience with a control room, I have experience with a TV studio, it's definitely a good choice.
Welcome back to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from Middlesex Community College. I'm Steve Minkler, together with my guests, English professors Ashley Raithel and Adam Floridia. Before the break, we were just introducing you to Adam and Ashley and talking about their role in our book club, which we'll talk about later in the show. But right now, we want to get to know you each a little bit better in our segment called Meet the Professors. And Ashley, what inspired you to be a professor of English at a community college?
Oh, when I was a college student and I first started as a vet tech student and realized science wasn't really my thing, and I became an English major at a school that it was brand new. The English major was brand new, so I was like the third graduating student from this class, and I just loved hanging out with my professors in their offices, and I thought, this is the best, and I want to do this for the rest of my life. Well, what's the best way to do that for the rest of your life? You can't really be a student forever and ever, was to become a professor. So right after my undergraduate degree, I went on to grad school, and I taught at a bunch of different schools before landing at Middlesex, and I love the community college environment. My students are such hard workers. They really value their education. They're often paying their own way, so they see what they're doing in the classroom as really, really important, that you don't get that at every other school.
Right. Now, you taught at Middlesex part-time for a little while, and then you've been with us full-time for 2 years?
Yeah, this is my second year full-time. I think I was here for 5 years as an adjunct before I got full-time. So it's awesome. It's so exciting to be here.
And I'm sure your students love you too, which is great. It's
I hope so.
Now, you actually are in the English department office. Your cubicle is next to Adam's.
It is.
And Adam, you, I think, had a similar trajectory in how you became an English professor. What motivated you to decide you wanted to teach English?
I think I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I went into college planning on being elementary education. Don't know if you know this, but I tend to be very juvenile and childish, so I thought working with kids would be right up my alley. But again, it's a similar thing that in college I started taking English classes and just fell in love with them, loved the deep discussions we were having, and realized, you know, I probably can't do this with third and fourth graders. So I'll major in secondary education. College was never on my radar at all. That's ivory tower. I'm not going to do that. So I'll teach secondary ed. I got my degree in English and secondary education, taught high school, and realized that I think that was dealing with a lot more childish behavior, in the exact same thing that I chose not to do for teaching elementary school. And I think it was my second year teaching high school where I realized, oh, I have a master's degree. I didn't even know I'm eligible to adjunct at a community college. And I was lucky to land a position as an adjunct here. And it was night and day in a couple ways. I mean, teaching high school during the day, and then I'd go home, get my grading done, drag myself off the couch, come to college and teach again. But I'd come home from my college classes 9:30 and be like bubbling with enthusiasm because it was such a difference between teaching high school where students have to go and weren't quite as motivated versus teaching here. Like you said, students are here because they want to be. I don't expect every student to walk into English 101 or any English class and be like, I know they don't all love English, but on some level they've chosen to be here. It's an investment in both time and money that they're choosing. So it's fantastic.
Well, I think as teachers you realize, that you have a gift for working with a certain age group. I mean, God bless a kindergarten teacher. Those people are really focused on dealing with young children and are trained to do so. But Ashley, you've said you've worked in a couple of different colleges. What do you like most about working at Middlesex Community College?
I really love the small community that we have. We have a wonderful English department. We all have cubicles. Adam actually has bubbles that he blows over into my cubicle. That makes it a lot of fun and just a nice, comfortable environment. But like I was saying before, my students, who are, my favorite thing, they're what I want to do all day is just be with my students. And being full-time, now I have students who come by my cubicle to say hi and check in with me, which you just don't get to do when you're an adjunct because you're not on campus as much. So I love the small community because my students really get to know me. The classroom sizes are really manageable. My students know that I'm always available to them, that they can come to me for anything. The campus itself is beautiful. It's a gorgeous campus, and it's really, really accessible for the students. It's a lot of fun.
And Adam, you've been full-time as an English professor now for, is it 7 years or thereabouts?
Thereabout, yeah. I think 2012 was first time full-time English. So yeah, about 7 years.
And before that, you ran our College Learning Center, which offers tutoring and other support for students. So you've had a couple of different roles at the college. So what do you like best about working at Middlesex Community College?
Not to be unoriginal, but a lot of what she said, I love getting to interact with students and getting to really know them. Like I said, when I was in college, teaching college was never on my radar. College professors are high, like, I don't know, something unattainable, unapproachable, where here I like that. I hope students don't feel that way, and from my interactions with them, I don't think they do, because it's just a regular person. That's why book club is great. We sit down and we talk about books the same way I talk about books with any friend. Most of my friends don't read books, so friends like Ashley. But just getting to let students know me as a person, getting to know them as a person, to really try to make learning fun. That's a lot easier, again, when students are invested in some level. I think when we make it fun for them, it brings out this investment that they might not have known they had. A young lady just yesterday said, English was always something I felt like I had to do. It's like, now I really like English. And not just to pat myself on the back, she actually had Ashley last semester, and now she has me. So I think she's had a pretty good trajectory.
Cool. All right, well, both of you said you've read a lot of books and you continue to read 60 or more books a year or whatever, but Ashley, do you have who's your favorite author and why does that person come to mind for you?
So usually my go-to is Tom Robbins. I love Another Roadside Attraction. That's probably my favorite book. He has a lot of he just does a lot of interesting things that are, quirky and unique to his writing style. The storyline of Another Roadside Attraction is this couple that go around the country going to these different roadside attractions. They decide that they want to have their own, so they have a flea circus. And one of the scenes is like her making these little clothes for the fleas. And I just find it so entertaining. Beyond that, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm a Hufflepuff. When we get into the classics, it's Dante and Inferno is my favorite. When I read that as an undergrad, it was an 8 a.m. class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was the only English major. I would run in at like 7:45, and I'd be like, I can't believe how awesome this book is. No one else was as excited about it as I was, but fantastic classic literature right there.
And Adam, what gets you up at 7:30 in the morning to read a book? Who's your favorite author? And
my go-to is Kurt Vonnegut. He's been my favorite author for a long time. I really think that you can learn everything you need to know about life from reading Kurt Vonnegut's books. He's got 14 novels, and what's great is he writes in a really sort of basic, simplistic style. But that's impressive because he's writing about really big ideas, and to be able to boil them down into something that makes them more simple to digest is wonderful. He's got a sort of sardonic, sometimes dark sense of humor, which I like. There's a sarcasm there. I tend to be really sarcastic. David Foster Wallace is another one. I like the authors they're considered postmodern. They write in sometimes a non-linear way, and they break the fourth wall and do all this stuff that isn't really a traditional novel. I kind of like that weird, different stuff.
Okay, cool. So big question for both of you. Coming up in May is Middlesex Community College Foundation's annual 5K run walk. So you getting ready for this, Ashley?
I am. I'm going to win this year.
Yeah, she runs marathons. You did say run walk.
Yeah.
I did, yes.
I could handle the walking part, I think.
Yeah, you can walk
I've been getting healthier this semester, so I think I could handle that.
Yeah, I did it a couple years ago. I came in last place. So,
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I did. It's true, because I just did the walk. But so if you're not walking or running, what do you do for fun outside of reading and teaching English? So Adam, do you have any hobbies on the side?
I was going to say, well, Steve, that's pretty much it. Reading, teaching English. I've got a 7-year-old son and a 4.5-year-old daughter, so they keep me really busy. While my other passion is travel, so I love to go abroad whenever I can. So that's not something we're doing every week or weekend or year even, but whenever we get the chance, my wife and I will take off. We're actually going to Japan this summer, so I can't wait for that. And we always leave the kids behind so that we can enjoy ourselves.
Sure.
On the trip. They're not ready for your international travel yet, but travel, reading, entertaining kids.
Okay. And Ashley, how about you? What do you do when you're not here at Middlesex Community College and teaching English?
Well, so I am reading a lot and I'm running a lot. He did say I was a marathoner, so that takes up a lot of time. But my passion is music, so I do a lot of live music, going to concerts and things of that nature. I don't have kids yet, but I do have an adorable dog, and we spend a lot of time hiking the trails in Connecticut. We live in East Haddam, so it's very rural, and there are tons of places to explore. So that's usually what I'm doing on the weekends.
You also had some chickens too, didn't you?
Oh, I have chickens.
Okay, and
yeah.
what was something unique about the chickens, though, if I remember?
Yes, the chickens are all named after female authors. Well, actually, and we did have roosters that were named after male authors, but the roosters are no longer with us. That's a whole other story. But they're a lot of fun. I think they live up to their names.
All right. I also know, too, you have a real passion for civic engagement and having students involved in the world around us, and you actually helped lead some voter registration drives on campus, too.
Yes. The best thing for our students to do is to get involved with I shouldn't say with politics, but just having an active voice in our democracy. So every semester now I'm running a voter registration drive, either with the legislative outreach team or just part of Spring Fest or something, getting a table set up so that students have the opportunity to register and then be motivated to vote when the time comes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, it was great to get to know both of you a little bit more. And we do have time for a quick break. And when we come back, more with Adam and Ashley and the Middlesex Community College Book Club. This is Middlesex Moments. Stay tuned for more.
I really had no idea of what I wanted to do, so I worked a lot of minimum wage jobs. And finally, I was just like, I just need to go back to school because I wanted to get a business degree. And Middlesex Community College was super convenient.
The reason I chose the Middlesex Veterinary Technology program was because of all the opportunities it had with Piper Olson Veterinary. There's no other place where you would have access to that. I would definitely recommend Middlesex to anybody who's interested in that career because you're going to be 100% prepared to start your job.
Never thought I would have reached this far with my associate's degree. It allowed me to buy a house. I was able to get married. It was a dream.
Welcome back to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from Middlesex Community College in Middletown. I'm Steve Minkler, together with my guests, English professors Adam Floridia and Ashley Raithel. Before the break, we were talking a little bit more about who Adam and Ashley are. And in addition to being professors of English here, they co-host the Middlesex Community College Book Club. So from what I understand, attendance has been pretty good over the last year or so that we've been doing the book club, Adam?
We're still working on getting more attendance, hence the TV show and announcement to try to get more people to come. I realize sometimes it might be part of the name, the book club. I hope students don't think this is a club you have to join. I know people talking about books, you call it a book club. But you can come, you can read one book and come, and if you like it, great, come and talk about it. If you don't like it, fine, great, even better, come and talk about it. If you haven't read the book, but it looks like something that might be interesting to you, come and talk about it. It's not a long commitment where you're joining a club and we have regular meetings that you have to attend. It's once a month, the last Monday of the month, always up in the periodical room of our wonderful library. A group of people, whoever has read the book or interested, comes and sits down and talks about it.
Okay. Well, before we get into a little bit more detail with you guys, I can say that Middlesex Moments reporter Ben Stachkunas visited the book club recently and got to meet some of the participants in the Middlesex Community College Book Club. Here's his report.
So it's about a world that's coming to terms with girls having this kind of power, this devastating power.
Here at the book club at Middlesex Community College, the staff and students are encouraged to meet once a month.
So this month we're reading The Power by Naomi Alderman. The book club is great because it's an opportunity for people to come together around their love of books and reading.
And that love of books and reading really translates to the book club itself.
The thing I love about the book club is that I get more than just my own perspective. Because usually if you read a book or watch a TV show, you have your own reaction and you figure that's correct. But then when you're in a book club, you realize, wow, there's like multiple perspectives and many other different ways of understanding an author.
New students coming into book club would really have the opportunity to interact with their professors. That's really good, I think, for students to have that opportunity. You don't even necessarily have to read the whole book or even that much of the book. And I think Adam says you don't even have to read the book at all. You could still come.
Everyone brings their own personal lives to a book.
In book club, we can all come together from across disciplines and job descriptions and talk about really interesting topics.
Book Club meets on the fourth Monday of every month. To learn more, visit mxcc.edu/book club.
So earlier in the show, we were talking about how the books got selected, and it was really great to hear from some of our participants in the book club to see what they get out of it. And recently, actually, the most recent book club meeting was to discuss the book The Power by Naomi Alderman. And Ashley, you were really taken by this particular book, I think.
Yes. This book I read, I want to say last year, and I kind of started to tell Adam about it. I was like, maybe this would be a good book club selection. And to be honest, we had actually a whole different list of books for this semester before winter break was over, and then last minute changed to the 3 that we have now. And I think that we did the right thing. The Power, it's very contemporary. It's a play on gender roles and gender norms and what would happen if suddenly females were physically more powerful than men. And the way that they become more powerful than men, and you find this out early, so it's not a spoiler, is that they can electrocute men. And they gain this power where they can kind of just shock you, but they can actually also, by touch, kill men, or people, I should say. So once that changes, it's this world where they're trying to figure out how to live this way. So like elementary schools, the children are being split, right? We have to have the boys separated from the girls. They can't stop the girls from hurting each other, but they can at least put them separate from the boys. The book follows 5 different characters, so you get 5 different perspectives on what's going on for them and their experience. One is a male character. And in the United States, there's less change because of the way that we already have a lot of equality. But in third world countries where women don't have the right to drive or things like that, that's where you really see the power shift and how dramatic the impact is. It's a fascinating read.
Wow. And what did the readers in the club, what kind of discussion ensued when you were talking about the book? I could imagine that this could have gone tons of different places.
Yeah, I think people were taken with the premise. The premise is just really interesting. The conversation went, what would you say? You gave it 3.5 stars. So I feel like gung-ho about this book.
I mean, it's a solid book.
We thought that the book gets a little off as it continues, because it is just kind of like repeating this theme of the women having more power, and how many times can you really just say that over and over again. But I think we had a good group that were taken with it, and that thought about how this would work in our world. It's very sci-fi, so sometimes that's too much of a stretch for people. But I think it's hard to do what this book is trying to do without making it that extreme, right? The extreme that they suddenly can electrocute people.
Okay.
Which I liked it because it was to me it was a good thought exercise where the writing wasn't my style so much, but it flowed well. I mean, it was something I think I read in 2 days. Sat down, read 150 pages, sat down, read another 150. So it keeps you turning the pages, which is great. But the thought exercise of, okay, here's this dystopian or maybe utopian world, and because it mirrors our world just with opposite gender roles and power structures, it made me think a lot more about things that I don't realize. So when you read about the women really coming to power, especially in the countries where women have no power now, they're doing things that are really ridiculous. I'm like, well, but men do that. So it kind of puts a lens on modern society and how things are that maybe we do take for granted a lot of times, in a lot of cases.
Okay. Well, earlier in the show, we talked about how many of the books that have been selected for the book club over the years have later turned into major feature films. I could imagine this book being a major.
So I think that there are scenes in this book that this author was already visualizing the movie of this book. There's a scene where I think all these police officers come, and the women have flooded it so they can just put their hands into the water and electrocute all of these police officers that are coming onto their property. So there are like kind of some big moments like that where you can really picture it. I actually think this is going to be a television series. I think somebody's picked it up as a television series. I want to say. I can't confirm that.
Which would make it like Handmaid's Tale, which
Yeah.
a lot of people probably watch, and it has a connection to that too.
Well, and speaking of Handmaid's Tale, Naomi Alderman mentored under Margaret Atwood, who's the author of The Handmaid's Tale. And I mean, she does, all of her books are basically dystopias, so you can see a lot of her influence in this book, which is cool.
Yeah, so if it becomes a series or a film, we've got students in our production class here on our crew who could maybe get jobs working on it. That would be pretty
Yeah.
cool. So coming up, we have 2 more books this semester. The next one is Gone So Long by Andre Dubuis III. And Dubuis himself came to the college recently. And how was this book selected?
So this was recommended to me by one of our wonderful librarians, Joy Hansen. I do solicit recommendations even before I kind of scooped up Ashley, just because I didn't want to just be the one picking books. So this was one Joy said she was reading, and she said she loved it. And being familiar with Dubuis myself, only after he came to campus, I read 2 of his books, Townie, which was autobiographical, and one that was a movie, House of Sand and Fog. I think it starred Ben Kingsley, and I loved those. His writing is amazing. The stories are gripping and compelling. So I'll admit I have not read this one yet. I'm very much looking forward to reading it, obviously before the end of the month. But I took Joy's word, so I knew it's going to be good. And just the fact that it's a Dubuis book, I'm excited to read something. It's a new one, so it's like as you said, we're doing a lot of contemporary stuff, so we're not looking at something that was published a long time ago and might not be as relatable.
Okay. Yeah, and that book club event, if some of our listeners or viewers are interested, will occur on Monday, March 25th at 12:30 here at the Middlesex Community College campus in our Learning Commons, the periodical room. The book after that for the month of April is Educated by Tara Westover. And are you familiar with that book, Ashley?
So I haven't read it yet either. I was actually given to me as a Christmas present, so I've been holding on to it so that it's fresh in my mind for when we read it for book club. But it is the Middletown One Read Around the River Bend.
One book in the river bend.
One book around the river bend. So a lot of people in Middletown will be reading it around the same time that we'll be reading it. I only heard good things about it. I've only heard fantastic things. A couple of the other English professors have read it already. They say wonderful things about it. I'm very excited to read it.
Okay, great. And that will come up for a book club discussion on Monday, April 29th, also at 12:30 in our Learning Commons. So we talked earlier about how books are recommended or how you select books. Looking ahead to next year, have you have any thoughts for the books that we might be picking for next year's book club, or perhaps a theme? Do you ever try to approach the book selections from a theme perspective?
That's an idea.
That's an idea.
That's an idea.
I think I mean, we're English professors, so we can be creatively thoughtful about we can find some way to thematically link all of these and stuff. But I think that would be interesting. That was something that I thought of. I had even talked to some other club directors, like Eva, who's involved with Speak, another English professor, and talked about, well, is there a book that would be relevant to your particular club or other campus groups that, well, if we read that, it's going to be automatically more appealing to this group, and you can do it as part of your club and work it in. And nothing's come from that yet, but I think that's still definitely on the radar and something we can work towards.
Well, we kind of did that with the Christopher Cook book.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, that was the other one I was trying to think of.
The Compassionate Achiever.
Right.
Yeah. So our graduation speaker last semester had a book. We read that, and
And
the
then he
honors
came.
students were reading that. And
Do you build in the book club books as part of the assignments in your courses?
I don't. I give extra credit for reading the book and coming to book club. It would be interesting to think of a book that would be really integral to my courses, which maybe soon.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Same thing. Extra credit.
Okay. We'll look forward to doing that. We're just about out of time, so I really want to thank my guests, Ashley Raithel and Adam Floridia, professors of English here at Middlesex Community College and co-hosts of the Middlesex Community College Book Club. Thanks for being with me today.
Thank you
Pleasure.
so much.
Thanks for
This
having
is
us.
so much fun.
And thanks to you, our listeners and our viewers, for joining us for another edition of Middlesex Moments. As always, you're welcome to visit us in person at our main campus here in Middletown, 100 Training Hill Road, where you can come to the book club the last Monday of the month at 12:30. You can also visit us at our Meriden Center, located at Platt High School, 220 Coe Avenue, where we offer afternoon and evening classes 4 days a week. And of course, you can always visit us online 24/7 at mxcc.edu. From Middlesex Community College, I'm Steve Minkler, and we hope to see you again soon.